Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're at the lake. So this morning I got up and I was watching Off the Ranch, which Matt from Demolition Ranch, it's one of his other channels. It's a little channel, not sure if you've ever seen it. Anyways, his F-Series truck got broken into and it caused me some alarm. So I decided to do some research and I went down the rabbit hole of YouTube. And I think I've come up with a fix. So this modification I'm doing today is also going to work on, it's going to work on an F-150. It's also going to work on 250s and 350s. They all have the same door handle and mechanism. So even if you own a Super Duty, or sorry, Heavy Duty, Super Duty, even if you own a Super Duty, stay tuned because this applies to one. So what they did on Matt's truck was they went in through here and through the key, the lock tumbler, and they broke, and it just unlocked the truck. They couldn't start the truck, they couldn't steal the truck, but they got in and they took some of his stuff, and I don't want to lose any of my stuff. Not that I keep any valuables in my truck, but occasionally if you're traveling or whatever, there might be a couple things in there you don't want to lose. One downfall will be if my battery goes dead, because the keypad won't work, your remotes won't work, and the app won't work. However, in my experience, and others I'm sure have different experiences, usually the battery doesn't die completely when you unlock your vehicle. You unlock it, get in, and it's when you go to physically turn the engine over, there's not enough juice to do so, your battery's dead. So you're not necessarily locked out of your vehicle. However, I'm sure there are cases where you walk up, press the button, no juice. But I'd much rather pay a tow truck driver to come and let me in my vehicle to give me my boost anyways, or what have you, than pay the deductible of my insurance for whatever gets ripped off from my truck. And there's no guarantee if someone wants into my truck, they'll just break the window. Like if I leave a laptop sitting in there or whatever, or they just want to get into it, they're going to get into it. I just don't want to be an easy target because it takes them probably less than 11 seconds to get into these trucks from what I've been seeing online, which I just discovered this morning is kind of disturbing. So I'll walk you through the process on what I'm going to do. And yeah, so stay tuned. So before I get started on this anti-theft mod, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel. The channel is all about my truck and everything I'm going to go through with my truck, including now this, where I find out that these trucks are kind of easy to get into unless you do some sort of modification. So if you like trucks, if you like F-150s, I'm going to be doing camping, maintenance, all those types of things. Please hit that subscribe button, really helps me out. And if you like my video, if you like my content, please give me a thumbs up. That also very much helps with the algorithm. So let's get started. Okay, for my project, the tools that I'm going to be using are a pair of long nose pliers with a bend. A regular pair of long nose pliers will probably do. A plastic pry tool for trim pieces. A screwdriver for prying, flathead preferably. And I got this hook that I use for weaseling out the rod for the lock mechanism, you'll see. Then I have a 7mm on a screwdriver. I have an 8mm on a small socket on a ratchet, and another ratchet with a 10mm. And I like these magnetic dishes for keeping all the pieces in as we go. And I use this flashlight for inside the door. But you can use any old light, will probably help out a lot. Start with the easy things. We're going to pull this panel off first. That just pops off. There's metal clips in it. You want to make sure that they're all there, they don't get stuck in. And then this comes off, and what concerns me is that I put a nice trim on it, and I don't want that it's just two-way tape on there, and I don't want it to come off. Well, that was a little harder than I thought. These are plastic clips. They're all on there, but man, they were holding on tighter than I thought. And there's a blue one up here, all plastic. I didn't break anything, although I felt like I was going to. I'm gonna pull out, there's another trim piece in there. All plastic tips, 2 of them, but you can see there's tabs on the bottom, so you need to pull up and out. Okay, so I got an 8mm on my socket. I'm gonna go ahead and take these 4 screws out. So there's a little one up here. It is a 7mm, and it's kind of like a wood screw, but it's not. Under here we have 2 more 7mm, just like the one up top that I showed you. So another one of these little screws. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's all the screws. I have the door locked, so it's going to be easier for me to get the trim up and over. So we're going to start from the bottom and then work our way up. And then I'm going to have them try and show you the insides once we get there. So.
Alright. This is going to be interesting. I've never seen something like this before. Whoa.
And I'm going to undo the wiring harnesses the best I can. So one.
If you do this, make sure to have a flashlight.
Got it. Okay, and then I want to squeeze, there's a spot to squeeze here. And it releases this part. All the clips are still on. So we're good to reinstall it after. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this down on the back side. I was showing you the wrong way. I don't know how well you can see it, but you gotta push down on this. Anyways, it's out. Be very careful with that piece. Now we're gonna take this off. Now I gotta take it right off, but I'm gonna let it hang down. And now we're at the door handle. I'm gonna unlock the truck again. All right, so with the door panel off, which to a lot of people is the scariest thing, but if you just saw me do it, it was not that scary. You can see inside the door where the door handle is, and you can see there's two nuts there that I got to get off, and then I'm going to take this off, which I'll show you in just a second, and there's another nut in there. Okay, so with my plastic pry tool, so I don't scratch my paint, I'm going to come in and get at this plug. And unseat it. So I got the two 10mm nuts on this side, and then the 10mm bolt on that side. And then I think we got to get this clear, and then slide it that way a little bit, very carefully, and then get it clear. And the hook is still attached. And this is where I want to be careful. Okay, so that's out. Okay, so the door latch is free. So here we go. So I had to bend it to get it out from around the actuator, but it's done. They go through here, force this to break because it's just sitting in plastic, and unlock your truck. So with this gone, the key does nothing, but neither can they do anything with this when they get in there. So it doesn't make it impossible to steal, but it makes it a lot more challenging to get in there. So now what I'd like to do is I'm going to remove the tumbler, the lock itself, and I'm going to try and somehow fabricate something to cover that hole. So when they pull the handle and go to break in, they'll realize it's not even there and hopefully just walk away. Like I said, if they really want in, they're just going to smash the window and take what they want, but I just don't want to be an easy target. Okay, so right now I have the handle fairly tight in the vise, and I think I will need, or possibly need, oh jeez, Never mind. I thought I was going to need assistance from one person. So it's just these cheap plastic tabs that are stopping the tumbler from free spinning and unlocking your truck. So that's this. You saw how easy that was, is what's stopping someone from opening your door. Maybe not stealing your truck, but getting in your truck and stealing your valuables. That's not going back in. So I found this in my dad's shed. He keeps everything and anything, little plastic piece, and it fits right in the tumbler. Almost perfect. So what I'm gonna do is silicone that in there. And then there won't be a tumbler for them to even see. And I'm thinking this is not necessary. This hole can just be there because the water can't get in the truck, but these plugs fit in. So I might try and modify one of them too. So this is gonna be another one of my budget fixes, $0. Except for the silicone, but I already have a bottle of clear silicone open and ready to go. Okay, back in my trusty vise. So I'm hoping you can all see what I'm up to. Make sure it's not in the way of the mechanism. Perfect. Doesn't interfere with anything. We got a keyless door handle. What that looks like. The silicone should dry nice and clear, so you might see a little bit of residue there right now, but once that dries, it should be perfect. Okay, so we also have these rubber, plastic, I'm not sure, probably plastic tabs, and it seems to fit in there perfectly. So I'm gonna see if I can smooth it out and make it look nice. And if I can, that's gonna be, I'll silicone that in there and see how well. So it's not as pretty as I might like, but I mean the door handles are base door handles. If I spin it the right way, gives it a bit of a cleaner look. So we're gonna go ahead with that. Kind of matches the texture too. I don't know if you can really get that from the camera, but I don't know. If I end up hating it, I can always just go the route of buying a passenger handle and putting it in upside down. That seems to be a route a lot of people are going. I'm just trying to do this in a budget-friendly way. And the fact that my door handles aren't painted, they're matte black, and that plug is matte black, I don't think it's going to be extremely noticeable. I mean, there was always a keyhole there anyway, so this kind of just looks like there's a hole that's plugged. So we'll let that cure, and then we're going to put it all back together. Okay, so I let this cure for about an hour. It should be pretty good. I'm not going to mess around with it too much, but enough to put it back together. So basically what I'm going to do now is just the complete reverse of what I did. And I think what I'll do is I'll just do a time lapse of me doing that. There's no need for you to watch me just basically do the opposite. What I did do is I took the time, since I have my door plate off, is I took some good cleaning wipes and I got all my boot marks off of the door because I had the opportunity and I wasn't having to be hunched over to do that. So there's a little tip. So I'll get the door handle on, and before I put the panel back on, I'm gonna move everything and we're gonna test it. We're gonna open and close it, lock it, unlock it, make sure it all works before I put the door panel back on. So I put the clip back in with the actuator to open the door, and I'm gonna put it in. So here's a tip. Obviously it goes in this way first. And then we're gonna slide all this into the right spots. And then got it in. Okay, so it's in. So here's the tip. Put the bolts on, the 10mm nuts on before you put the bolt in the side. because if you put the bolt inside first, you might draw it out and then tighten it. So this way it'll remain nice and flush. So I think it's looking pretty tight like that, in my opinion. And I will do the rest. Okay, so before I go ahead and put the rest of the door back together, now that the door handle's secure, we're going to try it. Make sure I got everything working right. It looks pretty clean in my opinion. So lock, unlock. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, my budget-friendly modification again. I took the lesson that Matt from Demolition Ranch got the hard way. Before someone got into my truck through my door handle, I've remedied that problem. And I hope you don't have the problem. And I hope you're not tuning in because you've had that problem. So if you haven't had that problem, I still suggest you may give this a try. It's not bulletproof. If someone wants to get into your truck, they're gonna get in. The best practice is not to leave valuables in your truck. But if you're gonna travel or whatnot, there's a chance you might have something in there and you'd hate to lose your valuables or your suitcase with your socks and underwear in it. So this is just one layer of protection and hopefully keep the lazy criminals out of your vehicle. Like I said, if they want in, they're getting in.
Like, subscribe, and comment.
Hit
that notification bell
to always be notified of every time that a new video comes out.